But I'm coming straight back in and recording the second part on the same day. What was that noise? No, I don't autosave now. I heard a noise. I want to get out of here. So yeah, hello everyone, I'm High Treason. Welcome back to Let's Play The Long Drive. This is part 53. I was looking in the complete opposite direction to the microphone there, so forgive me if my voice sounded dodgy, but well, that's what you get. I'm the dollar store like equivalent of one of these YouTube people, and so you get dollar store performance out of me. Now, yeah, we are starting at 670. We've had this car a long time. We've had this car a really, really long time. Fucking hell. How long have we had it? Well, in any case, our target distance, I guess, is going to be, what, 720? If we're still in this car, if we don't find another car by the end of this part. We are on the hunt for another car. We want to find another car. But it has to be a Trabant or a 2105. Might get desperate and we might just take something else. Might take another Skoda. Might take another Plymouth if we find one. Can you even get diners in snow biomes? And I don't have an answer to that question because they're such a rare building anyway. And snow biomes are exceedingly rare. And they're probably not the sort of places you want to drive excessively quick because they are more skiddy than the other biomes. And yes, if you're new here, I do press the brake at the same time as the gas pedal because it's a game that doesn't have a damage model for these things, and so you know, you're not going to overheat your brakes or damage the transmission or anything like that. It won't happen. It might drink a bit more fuel, but generally if you apply the brakes real hard like that, the clutch actually engages when you have an automatic transmission type in the game. So, and I actually recommend, like, say if we span out here, actually press both, because it is a thing that always messes with my head in games. Is the brake pedal is also the accelerator pedal if the car's going backwards. Like, the game will, like most games, assume you want to go in reverse, and so the brakes will not be on and the engine will just start pushing the car. Well, it'll over rev the engine because it'll engage the gear and the car's going faster than it's supposed to in that gear, and it's going to drive the engine. And yeah, so what you want to do is just press both pedals if the car spins out, and what that will do is you know, it'll rev the bollocks off the engine, but it won't be in gear, and you know, the brakes will be on no matter which way you're facing. I mean, slamming the brakes full on when you're skidding out in a car is generally not a good idea, like in real life, but again, this is a video game and things work a bit differently in video games to how they do in real life, and this is why we'll do stupid things like that that you wouldn't do in the real world, just purely because it's a video game. And so, you know, I don't play video games to be in the real world, I play them to escape the real world, and so that, to me, you know, to get the most out of a game, you should, rather than working against the game logic, you should work with it. And if the game logic, like, functions in that way, then you should use it. I don't think I've ever seen a snow biome transition into a grass biome before. Yeah, it produced quite a nice green. It reminds me of this rabbit character that was around when I was a kid, but I can't remember his name. And I'm not thinking of rhubarb and custard before somebody says that. I don't think he was green anyway, was he? I know it was like a barfy colour, but I don't think he was like green. Now, I'm sure this other rabbit used to be on ice lolly packaging. Maybe he didn't have a name. Oh shit. There you go, you see we pressed both pedals there. That probably ripped hubcap off or something. No, it didn't. I'm actually surprised. Did we hit that rock? I don't know. Let's get back in the car. Ooh. But yeah, as I said, we hit both pedals there and noticed we did stop quite reliably. whether you're on the brakes or not, it's very hard to change the direction of a car that's spinning. You know, you can do it sometimes, but if it's slipping out on you like that, there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do. This car bottoms out too much. It's so good. There is just a trailer and a bike. I'm not taking the bike, especially not on this day. It won't even go up these. You know, you've got no chance of getting this up here. I mean, this car will just about do it, but that bike, that wouldn't come up this. Look at it, that poor car. Kadoosh. 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 I'm not good at driving in third person. It's some people prefer that way, and I can't do it. Like, I could maybe manage just about, but the camera strangely has to be out quite far for me to feel even remotely comfortable doing it. And it just, I never feel like I can get the car straight or anything because I just don't have the feedback there. And quite, you know what? It looks like a horse. I've not noticed that before. We've basically fucking made our own horse. Oh god. Oh god, no. I'm not sure I like driving this car around anymore. Oh! Hey, we just outran the terrain generator. Again, like the collision. That is getting more frequent. I'm starting to wonder now, you know, if that is like going to be more of a problem than it used to be. Wow, that is real close to the road for one of them towers. Have we ever been at one? There's not, usually there's like weapons on them sometimes, and that's about it. They're really not worth going to unless you want, like, you know, the guns and stuff, and, you know, as you've seen, I don't care to use them in this game, because I just don't think there's a point. Like, they don't really offer you any real advantage in the game if you know your way around it. You know, have we had a problem with rabbits without having a gun? And no, have the rabbits ever murdered us? Well, no, you know, when we have had troublesome ones, we've sorted them. Their AI is not that clever. I would like it, I've said before, you know, I would like the rabbit AI to be more clever, and I'd like it if there was multiple stages of it. So, like, when you're in an area, you know, you might have 2 or 3 rabbits around, but if you stay there for, like, more than 5 minutes, you'll get, like, 4 more rabbits spawn, and they're slightly more aggressive. And then if you stay there, like, another 10 minutes or something, you just get, like, 10 rabbits, and they're all, like, super aggressive. Like, they'll just come straight for you, no matter what. They'll just see you, and they might be a bit smarter and, you know, actually know how to navigate buildings and shit. Like, that would be cool. I mean, can you imagine, like, hiding upstairs in the haunted houses and the rabbits actually jumping onto that roof and coming to get you? Like, I wouldn't be opposed to the game doing that if you stayed in an area too long. Like, because then it'd be up to you, and there would be some skill involved and some planning, you know. You'd always have to think, like, well, what if I do get stuck, like, in a building, like, working on my car for so long, the rabbits might come. You know, I wouldn't have a fixed amount of time. I'd randomise it a bit, and even then there might be a chance it will or won't happen. That was a 2-footed stop again. You know, and that I think would work, because you'd have to plan ahead, and there would be some level of skill involved there in, like, you know, well, you know, you have to be good enough to take that problem on, or else, you know, your only option's going to be to run away. You know, you just get in your car and you get the fuck out of there, because, you know, you can't deal with the rabbits. You feel like that they'll get you. They'll get you. That was one of them things that other fat girl said, like the one who hated the outdoors, that the one who was a bit cleverer, you know, and said she was just trying to leave an impression on the world, like, you know, used to, I think she said it jokingly, but I could never make out whether she was being serious or not. You know, where she said, like, the forest would get you, like the trees would get you if you went in a forest. I don't know what she thought they would do. You know, they don't tend to move around of their own accord very much, but God knows what went on in our head. Rabbits in this game though, yeah, they'll get you. Oh no. You see, what did I say before about aliens? You know, on the terrain generator thing? I said, didn't I? Like, yeah, it's a green one. Wow, that actually looked excessively bright for some reason. Look at the intensity on that. Is it just me or is that higher than usual? That must be like the how turned on the alien chicks are. Hey, that looks like a building out there. What is that? I think it's just a puny gas station. Yeah, I'm not going to that then. It'd be a waste of our time. But, hey, shit, yeah. Maybe that's why it's brighter. Because they know we're going to get there. And we're just going to fuck them silly when we do. Yeah, well, we're going to fuck all of them. I've made my mind up at long last. We will fuck the alien babes for sure. They're going to be my first choice. But maybe I'll save them until last because they're probably going to be the best out of what's available. Oh, the alien babes made this appear so that we might be able to get a new car. I see what's going on now. Yeah, or they just stole the cars so I can't get a new one. They want to wind me up. They're teasing me. But yeah, you know, we'll get to the end and they'll be having their fashion show. Will just be coming to a close. And, you know... We'll fuck the alien babes, we'll fuck the lionesses, we'll fuck the rabbits, we'll fuck the trees, we'll fuck the cars. We'll fuck everything that can be fucked. And if it can't be fucked, we'll find a way to make it so it can be. You know, we'll just hole saw through whatever it is and jam a flashlight in the hole with hole saw. If this starts, I'll take it. If it doesn't. Okay, I'm not taking it then. What? I'm sure it wasn't on this side. Oh, it was. I even remember. Oh, diesel. Yeah, I think you're running it on that. It's not that far off of running a bowl, but I'd rather not have to take one of them. They're a slow car. Despite what the speedometer and everything claims. It's not very fast. Like I said, I did the math on it, and we were actually moving real slow when we had one of those. You can't push it that hard, you know. This car you can push up quite close to its top speed a lot of the time. That thing is... It's more of a cruising car, you know. You get it to a comfortable speed and you can just cruise at that speed and it's really good for that. It's not a zippy little thing like the 2101 was, or the Skoda. That Skoda I was dead impressed with, I've got to be honest. I didn't think that would get us about anywhere near as quick as it did, even when it was on its stock engine. It impressed me. I mean, that Plymouth would be chucking its arse end all over the place right now. I do really like it though, you know, it's not like I dislike that car, I think it's fucking brilliant. And like I say, we will drive another one someday. But I'm going to hold out for now for a Trabant or a 2105. I don't think anyone will have too much opposition to us keeping this car. I should have looked to see if there was hubcaps back there. Well, we don't go back, so... We continue forward. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Nobody gets too far like that. They used to play at my mother's line dancing, and I didn't understand why they didn't all crash into the fucking windows that were behind them. They obviously weren't doing it right. Stupid fucking line dancing place. Fucking shit. I'm sure I told you about it before. I mean, I'll probably tell you about it again someday. Jeez, we get to the end of the road, I might even have sex with the lampposts. I might even just have sex with the desert. I don't think that'd be very nice though, because deserts are made out of sand, and I mean, if you get sand under your foreskin, it's pretty horrible as it is. So, I mean, jamming the fucking bell end of your cock in sand is probably going to be really awful. Especially after you're finished and it starts going soft again, and you just, yeah, no, it's, no, absolutely not. Well, I guess that's the first solid knot we've had. Yeah, we don't do it with the desert. We did learn there was planes in the sky, so we'll have a go at them still, I guess, you know. Might as well. And that there might be robots, I guess we could try them. Yeah, why not? Some of the rocks might be alright, you know, they look reasonably smooth, not too jagged and sharp. Some of them are, we won't go with them ones. The smooth ones, we could give them a go. And the bird, you might be able to get away with that. I don't think so, though. I mean, that'd be a hell of a place to get road rash, wouldn't it? Jeez. That stuff sucks, almost like fucking Iceborne. Whoa, 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 whoa. Tried more tactical pedalling on that one, it didn't help us. That's a pedaling. Yeah, it's a pedaling, not a paddling. Pardon me. We were going too fast. Yeah, them rocks what were over there, them look a bit sharp. I wouldn't want to go with them. There's some electrical outlets. We could have a go with them. That ought to be fucking fun. Yeah, if I've been in the desert too long, I think I've been in the desert too long. Deviant thoughts about electrical outlets. It's like that song I wrote about Mario. Mario? Well, I wonder what happened if I put my dick in here. Cruel! It hurts. But Mario like it. I do it again. Cruel! So Mario 64's like a bully. I was on about bullies in the last part. And that game's like a bully, the way it treats the player. It's just not fair. It's bullshit. I hate that game. I don't understand, like, all the fuss about it. It's another one of those where it's pretty inevitable. You know, there were plenty of people trying to make 3D platformers at the time. And so if Mario hadn't have done it, someone else would have done it and got it right eventually. Probably at about the same time, I reckon. You know, it wouldn't have been long. My Xeon's making some weird noises today. The hard drives keep banging about. Well, there's no cars in here. Oh shit, someone's having a wee. Maybe it's the rabbits, because it was only a short one. I don't see them. We're going to film it and post it on the internet. Behind a paywall. Well, that's not working. Nothing good on the telly. Well, it's not as bad as the telly around here, at least. That's why I don't have one. Well, not hooked up to any sim. My telly's analog. I can't get TV on it. Should make my own TV channel. I've done radio before. Radio Vorticon. Pardon me. Used to play heavy metal. Obviously this was a pirate station. Our range was very bad, so... We know a couple of people did listen to it, but I don't think very many. Not many could. It was very dependent on weather and shit like that. And, you know, we mostly did it for ourselves. Like, we just wanted to be able to listen to our music without lumping a heavy tape player around. And so, you know, my mate called me one day. It was the dude who'd come over from the States. He just called me. He was like, Hi, you got a radio? Yeah, why? Turn the radio on. It's like, why? I don't listen to the radio. Oh, you're going to listen to it now? I'll make you listen to it. It's like, for fuck's sake, fine, here. Radio's on. Now what? Oh, you got AM on that thing? Yeah. And so he's telling me, like, turn it to this frequency. I'm like, well, I don't think there's anything there. And I just hear his voice, like, on the phone and through the radio, like, just telling me to come round to his house. And he'd been up all night building this fucking transmitter. They're not immensely complicated things, AM transmitters, but still, it built this one. It wasn't very powerful, but it was pretty neat, you know, being able to ride your bike off down the street and listen to your music with just a tiny little portable radio instead of having to, you know, lump a Walkman and some powered speakers around to do it. Or like a little boombox or something. You know, now we just have a crappy little radio from fucking Pound Stretcher. It didn't last long, you know, we didn't do it for very long. I have a recording of it somewhere, and I think it's the only known recording of his voice I have that wasn't like using a talk box. I have some of his music and he used a talk box, and so you weren't really hearing his voice, you'd really just hearing his mouth movement in that. Whereas there is some of the radio, you know, recorded it onto a tape, just because, you know, it was quite a big deal to us. And you can hear him like slagging me off in the background because we used to do that. We'd pre-record everything and just make a playlist and just leave it running. But of course, when we were pre-recording it, we used to slag each other off. And plus the fact it was quite common to sneak back and change things and add things. You know, I had this running thing that he wanted to be a cowboy, you know. That he showed up, like, to the radio station, because obviously we don't want to disclose where we were, and he'd show up to the radio station firing guns, wearing chaps, you know. He'd put a horse saddle on his bicycle, stuff like that. And then he used to say that, you know, I had like a handlebar moustache and smoked a pipe and kept spilling tea in the controls. And so what you do is replace each other's music in the playlist. So for him, you know, you just put loads of country and western shit. And so then to me, you'd just put loads of sort of tough music, you know. Or like patriotic British music, shit like that. We thought it was funny. You know, we'd get like a half mile down the road and like, you know, we'd hear our voices blaring out on the radio. And then you'd, you know, expect to hear this fucking, like, Megadeth song or like Creator or something like you'd queued up, come on, and instead you'd just hear something completely different. You know, his voice will be coming out. Yeah, next up we got a really cool song. It's one of my favourites. I love this song. It's fucking awesome. Here we go. And like he's waiting to hear his fucking start playing, and instead, you know, he just goes like fucking country shit coming out. And it just sort of like, you know, look over at me on my bike like, you're a twat. A twat? Yeah, you're a twat. What's a twat? Is that like a wart but worse? No, you're a twat. I don't know what a twat is. You're going to have to explain that to me. You twat. Yeah, as you said, but I mean, it's not very good because I don't know what that is. I think you're going to find something else. Twat. Oh, twat, I get you. Yeah, you're not saying it right, mate. What was weird is when he'd been here a while, they started picking up, like, you know, local words, mostly insults and stuff. So, you know, you'd hear him saying things like div. And it just sounded really fucking strange. He's been called a divvy by an American. It's like, fucking... yeah, this just doesn't sound right. Now you're just acting like one of them divvies I heard about. It's like, oh no. You start using that word as well. Everyone else uses that one. It's overused. It was really overused at the time, the word div and divvy. I had another mate, you know, he was British and he was a bit younger than me, and his favourite words were div and divvy. Everyone was a div to him, you know. I mean, I remember that this other lad, you know, the British one. And when did I lose my sword? Well, I still got my sword, it's in my pants, but when did I lose my Japanese sword? It's not as long, but I mean, it's my sword, I need it. But yeah, this other lad, everyone was a divvy to him. Especially girls. You know, that's when I was first getting into girls, and this lad, you know, there was this girl I saw that had a bit of a crush on. You know, not for very long, but yeah, she was like tall. She had this really long sort of wavy blonde hair, like right down to like, it was past her arse, it was that long, you know. And she walked by when we were sat down the alleyway just hanging out, and I'm like, do you ever think about girls? No, they're divs. Yeah, but I mean, there must be some girls you like. No, they're all divs. Alright. Well, you must know some girls. Yeah, they're all divvies. Well, what about Jake's sister? Yeah, she's a div. Yeah, I'll give you that, she is a bit of a div. But come on, they're not all divs. Like, you know, there must be some at school or something. Yeah, they're all divs. Girls are divvies, I hate them. And that was when I realised, like, you know, this British lad, you know, it's like, I think the age gap here between us is a bit too far now. Like, he's just, like, a bit too far behind me on things now, and... no, the divs are all divs. And, this was... coincidentally about the time the Yankee Doodle dude like first appeared, like, and we'd seen him a couple of times, and we used to yell insults at each other in the street, me and him. And I didn't know where he was from yet. I'd never even really spoke to him other than just called him a dickhead or something, and he'd yell back, and I'm like, what the fuck is his accent? That's weird, you know. And we saw him walk past the 10 foot, so we didn't say anything to him because we wouldn't really have time. He's walking past like a little opening there, you know, probably wouldn't even hear us. And this lad I was sat with, he'd left his bike propped up against the side of the garage that we were like sitting next to. Like he'd left it against the door, and we were sat down the side of it, like there was about 2 foot sort of recess there where the next garage was. And we were sat there to stay out the sun. And when we went to leave, the wheels were missing off his fucking bike. And yeah, I always suspected it was a Yankee Doodle dude who did it, because he was a massive thief, and he was very good at his thievery. And he didn't usually steal from people. Like, he was quite happy to leave people alone unless they did something stupid to piss him off. And so I always suspected, like, he must have walked in the other end and just took the fucking wheels off or something. Like, it actually seems like the sort of thing he would do. Now him, you know, we nearly spoke to each other loads of times. Like, I remember being at, like, that chubby chick's house, and, like, you know, I got loads and loads of electronics and stuff that were, like, all busted. I still have some of them. And I was walking home carrying this box full of this stuff, and as I rounded the corner in different 10 foot, and it was one that led from basically where their house was to mine, and as I rounded the corner, the American dude rounds the corner coming the other way, pushing this shopping cart full of like busted old electronics, And like, I'm sort of lent overlooking in there, he's lent overlooking in my cardboard box, and we just kind of stared at each other and paused for a moment. And then just sort of like frowned, called each other names, you know, oh, fucking knobhead. Fuck you fucking dickhead, you know, and just kept walking. There are a couple of occasions like that. And you see, as I was on about in the, like before, I think it was in the part before this one, where, you know, I was on about how you end up mates with people because you had a fight. And it was sort of the other way around with him, where there was this lad who used to start fights with everybody, who lived a few streets away from me, and he always lost. And he was weird, and he had so many injuries, you know, I'd love to know what happened to him. I hope he stopped doing that, because he was getting seriously hurt. But he did at least get a bit smarter, and it was me really had it in for. And I was walking by his house one day, and he starts his regular, I think you fucking hard, you dickhead. Fucking what you do, I fucking told you not to come on my fucking street. Mate, your family don't pay taxes, it's more my street than it is yours. What's that fucking mean? It means you're a fucking knobhead. And so he walked back in his house, because he used to put these fingerless gloves on if he was going to have a fight with you, and I knew he'd gone to get them, so I just waited. And all of a sudden, like, you know, there's about fucking 10, 15 lads just come running out from it, like, each end of the street. He comes back out the house, like, you know, fucking head caved in, now you're fucking bell end. He had no fucking mates, so I don't know where he got this lot. But I'm just like, oh shit, I'm going to get my fucking skull caved in here. But I'm not going to run away, and I'm not going to fucking cave in, because they'll just catch me anyway. So I'm going to stand here, I'll try and take them down. So I'm doing my best to fight them off. And all of a sudden I just hear this yelling, and like I glance round, and it's the American dude, like, is running up the street, yelling really angrily, and I'm like, oh great, like he's got him on board as well. You know, these must be people he knows. And he come running in, and he just fucking started lashing into them. It's like, you ain't fighting fair! I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, he could fucking fight that dude. Like, it's a bit of a stereotype in Britain of, like, Americans can't fight worth shit. And I don't necessarily believe that, because when he used to get in fights, it looked like something out of a fucking movie. Like, you wouldn't think he was very agile, you know, he was pretty big dude, you know, he didn't look like he was in particularly good shape, but he fucking was, and he could fucking fight. And so he clobbered about half of them, the rest of them did a fucking runner, you know. And this fucking lad went running back at his house, and I just sat on the fucking carb, you know, like, I'm knackered, I need a rest. And he sat just a little distance away. And, you know, I'm like, well, I can't just say nothing. I'm like, hey, thanks for that, man, you know, you don't have to do that, you know. He's like, well, they weren't fighting fair, and I don't like it when people don't fight fair. I'm like, well, I appreciate it, you know, like, I feel kind of bad for calling you a dickhead now. He's like, it's just words, I don't really care. I'm like, oh, good. Yeah, I'm sorry I called you a dickhead. No, I don't really give a fuck, man, it makes no difference. That's good. Hey, do you like Sega Genesis? Sega Genesis? What the fuck's that? That's the Sega Genesis. I never heard of that. Like, I know about the Mega Drive and like the Saturn and the Dreamcast. Mega Drive? I don't think I heard of that one. Is that some kind of cheap, unlicensed thing? No, it's the Sega Mega Drive. Yeah, I know what that sounds gay. Well, your Genesis sounds good. Oh yeah? Well, you want to see a Sega Genesis? Yeah, sure, I'll have a look. You know, just got fucking games on it, might be good. Alright, I'll show you a Sega Genesis. Follow me. And that was it. Like, you know, from then on, we was basically best mates. It's like, fucking hell, you know? Out of nowhere. And yeah, I'd brought it over with him. I didn't get to see it working that day. Of course, I saw that it was a Mega Drive with like a slightly different colour scheme and like Genesis written on it, but that was all I got to see because he couldn't get his telly working. You know, he's rummaging about boxes in the asbestos shed that came with the house, and you know, fucking goes to the kitchen, gets this extension cord, walks it down to the asbestos garage, and well, what do you know? It's a British extension cord, and his telly and his Sega are a fucking US plug on them. And will run on US voltages. It's just like staring at the plug. He actually tried to jam the end in. I think he knew it wouldn't fit and just did it out of frustration, you know. It's like, oh, holy shit. God damn it. Like, well, this is going very well, isn't it? Shut up. It's going great. It's going to work fine. Just you see. You wait and see. It's going to work real good. And he just threw the extension cord out the door halfway up the garden. I'm like, you know it's raining out there, mate. So? It might blow up. Oh, you think it's going to blow up? Yeah, it might blow up. It might blow the breaker at least. Oh, I'll show you. It's going to blow up. You wait right there. And he goes digging in his boxes again, pulls this thing out, fucking lights this fucking firework or something he's fucking made. He was very good at making explosives. Chucks it down the garden, hides behind the door, he's like, fire in the hole! I was like, you can't do that! Well, I just did. You can't do that shit round here, man. Well, I don't see why not. It's only small. But yeah, but people don't like you setting explosions off in your back garden. Well, they're going to have to get used to it. They're not going to get used to it. They're going to call the fucking Rozzers. You know? Yeah, he's one of the coolest people I ever met. Like, unfortunately, we had a falling out. And the thing is, I wish I'd spoken to him because, you know, he held grudges. He still had grudges against people he'd known when he was like 4 that were unresolved. And, you know, he knew where I lived. Like, and if he'd wanted to come and, like, curve my head in, he would have done it. And I think he must have known, you know, that it was a misunderstanding that we fell out over. And I think he must have known, because I saw him a couple of times and he just used to look at me uncertainly, and I wish I'd gone and spoken to him. I don't know if he's still in the country. He always wanted to move back to the States, so he probably did go back to the States. You know, his family had brought him over here, and he used to tell me how much he wished he could have stayed over there with his brother and his dog, because he didn't really like it here all that much. And I could understand him, and I could understand a lot of the problems he had with it, because, you know, where they'd lived, it was the middle of fucking nowhere. And, like, you come to this densely populated area where you don't have, like, all this, like, empty land that you can fuck about on. It's a bit shit, and you probably are going to be a bit loud and obnoxious because you know, you're used to living in a place where you can do that. You know, I don't think he was doing a lot of it to be a dickhead. I think he was doing a lot of it just because that was just normal to him. It didn't upset anyone where he came from. Yeah, he was a real cool guy, you know. And, they were pretty fun, like, if I ever ran into him, like, because there's 1 or 2 times where I thought I've saw him, like, at the other end of a shop, and I've not been sure. And I think if I have that again, I probably will walk up to the guy and ask if it's him. But it's been years now, so, you know, since I last thought I saw him anywhere, so I don't think he's here anymore. I think he probably has gone back to the States. Obviously, he did get his Sega working eventually. And we had lots and lots of fun playing it. And his goofy, fucking boxy, fucking US Super Nintendo. Like, the fucking SNES over there is kind of ugly. We're nearly out of time. I'll try and go one more building. I think we've beat our target distance anyway. There's part 53. We probably could have made our distance to 3,000, but I don't think we're going to do it, so it will be the next part, it looks like. Make it to 3,000 kilo minges, or whatever the fuck this measurement is. We will do it. Quite far ahead of schedule, I think. It's going to be like, what, 6 parts ahead? Oh, I was going to tell you, wasn't I? I think 87, 88 parts, somewhere around there. I think that's what it'll take us to get to the end of the road. Assuming we don't go horribly over time on loads of them or something. That's what I reckon. Might be more like 92. I guess I'm allowed 2 guesses. I'll say 87 or 92. Oops. You know what I said about, sending CDs out and stuff? I have been thinking for a while of getting some Zeph merchandise going, because all the other YouTube channels have it. And it's always boring shit like mugs and t-shirts and shit like that, and every channel... I swear there's this one guy with like a beard and glasses and a teacup making a loser symbol on his chin, and, who must have about 150 fucking channels or something. Like every fucking thumbnail is that shit. It's not really the same guy. I don't get why everyone's just fucking robots these days. But yeah, it's always the same shit that people fucking want to sell, you know. I think that's no good. So I've actually been researching ways to make a mould of my penis. And I want to make, high treason 610 dildos. Like, I totally looked into doing this, and I would like to do it, just because I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be really, really funny to do. Like, just because I've never seen anyone else do that. The problem I've had is finding a compound that I can use to mould that part of my anatomy, because a lot of the things are either not real good for your skin, so I don't want to stick my dick in them, or they take, like, hours to cure, and it's like... I can maintain a hard-on for quite a long time, but not like hours and hours on end without like having a break from it. And like obviously I'd have to stay still as well the whole time. And I just don't know that I could do that. But I might have actually found something that would work. So yeah, if I can make a mould of my dick, then I could make, a copy of that, and then I could make use that to make a more resilient mould. That would be like the master fucking version. We could just make like, new moulds from that using a better compound. And then we could use that to mould silicone rubber. And then you would be able to buy Zeph's dick and do whatever the fuck you want with it, and I would kill myself laughing if it showed up on like a shelf in the background of one of the big channels somewhere. They forgot to put it away. People like, well, if that's basically your cock, like, aren't you concerned that some guy's gonna like shove it up his arse? Well, not really, because it's not really my dick, it's just something that's the same shape. As long as they're having fun with it, I don't care what they do with it. You can just fucking buy 10 of them and throw them in the fire for all I care. Ah, jeez, I don't want to dump you in the desert again. Come on, find me a building, find me a building, find me a building, find me a building. I want to go to fucking bed and dream about dildos. I probably will now. I don't want to dream about dildos, but it's probably going to happen now, isn't it? Oh, wonderful. I don't know whether to make them flesh coloured or make them in a variety of really garish colours. And, oh no, that's not fair. I mean, seeing as it's me, I almost feel like we should do them in like really, really ugly colours. Just because that's kind of what I do, but I also sort of wonder if we shouldn't. Well, that's a bird. I'm sure I saw a building out there, like a haunted house. Maybe we didn't. For fuck's sake, there's just nothing. We're pretty much out of time. We probably lost more hubcaps. No, we didn't. We lose headlights? No. Man, it is a tough bastard, this car. Well, I guess we're heading for that boat or something. Should we just do them clear? I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if there is clear silicon rubber. You know, my flashlight was just skin coloured, so God knows who that was a mould from. They don't tell you. Ah, a building. There we go. You know, it's probably like some old grandma or something. Oh God, it's a Dacia. I don't want that shit. No, I'm not taking that game. You better give me a car in the next part. Okay, maybe we went a little bit over time, but it don't matter. YT 50. Distance achieved for this part. I don't know the total. 3002, we did it! We actually fucking did it! Holy hell! Well, I'm High Treason, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. We're past 3,000. Oh, fuck yeah. 2,000k to go. Probably a bit more. I'll see you around.